Hey guys, much love, much light, much blessings. I wanted to talk about something that I've never heard anyone talk about, at least my personal experience, because they always think of it as a separate topic or separate thing. And what I wanted to talk about was the importance of the Indio spirit, the Indio spirit core. I've talked many times about the importance, especially in Espiritismo, which is literally a very ancestral practice with communicating with our ancestors through the ancestors. And things like that in order to not only elevate them but also elevate ourselves in a spiritual form and heal people and intercede on the behalf of others through spirit, through ancestors, through those things. Okay. La Madama, as I've always said, is literally a court of spirits. So it's more than one spirit. Some people have one, but it technically is a court of spirits that were women that were enslaved. Okay. But they were the root workers, the espiritistas, the voodoo san, the santeras, so on and so forth. Those that kept the traditions going, those that went to church, lay hands on the sick, spoke in tongues, knew how to heal with herbs. Okay, those that read cast bones, those that read cigar smoke, those that read water, those that read with playing cards. Okay, so on and so forth. These are your Madama spirits, okay? These are the protector of psychics, the diviners, the one that helps you to download your other misterios, the one that helps you to guide you in your spiritual paths and all these things. So a very significant spirit that I talked about when I first started this channel, and I was controversial then, and I noticed more and more people are talking about it, and I love it, and I'm happy for that. But also there's another spirit that's important to Espiritismo as well. And that's your Indio spirit, your native and indigenous spirit. So I'm again going to talk about my personal experiences and the knowledges that I have. Now, New Orleans Voodoo has indigenous spirits in it as well. Because again, Hoodoo is African American folk magic. African American folk magic that has infusions of also indigenous practices. There's a spirit guide named Black Hawk that is very revered in Hoodoo traditions because he practiced Native American conjure, Native American hoodoo, folk magic. Okay, so he is revered. In some parts of the world, when our ancestors were trying to run away from slavery, okay, there were indigenous people that helped those people, of course, for compensation at times, to escape to other parts of the world, to escape to the north, to escape to Canada. Same thing with in the Caribbean. They helped to form palenques or free towns with the runaway African population that was forced to be there. Our enslaved ancestors, when they were fighting for their freedom, did cross paths with the Native Americans, and some had children. Louisa literally was founded by a woman who was mixed indigenous and mixed African. Okay, yes, I am someone who has mixed African descent and indigenous descent, as well as many people in the Caribbean. They even did a archaeological study, because for so long Caribbeans have been saying the Arawaks, the Caribes, and the Tainos did not die. Maybe a lot of us are mixed raced, but you cannot say that a tribe of indigenous people are extinct when we carry their DNA. And it's crazy because when Ancestry came out, and the Tainos have been fighting for recognition, so they have state recognition, they're still fighting like over 500 other tribes for federal recognition. Native Americans are the only people that have to prove their race by the approval of the government. The government tells you who you are. Despite many people having oral traditions, can trace back their family like I can, and many of us can, have their own languages, have their own way of living and things like that, are still told, no, you don't exist. And when I did my ancestry and I saw the Native American ancestry coming out that was scientifically proven, also I am able to trace back my full-blooded Taino ancestor as well, and all these things, right? So that's why I'm named Shamanic Arawak Priestess. Tainos are part of the Arawaks. So that's why I say that. Because I'm recognizing that the first people of the Caribbean were natives, were indigenous people, okay? And they have never been extinct. They have studies now of things that we've been knowing, okay? 61% of Puerto Ricans have the original Taino DNA. Okay, and they're starting. They want to like expand this study to other islands. Okay, to the other islands. That's why in the West Indies, in the Caribbean, okay, whether you speak Spanish, whether you speak French, whether you speak English, whatever you speak, we're cousins. We say we're cousins because we all know that we come from one of the main indigenous tribes of the Caribbean. Okay, we know this. We know this. And like in the Caribbean, like I said, we did intermarry. In New Orleans, same thing happened. There were people that were taken into tribes that were of African descent that intermarried. Unfortunately, you know, every race of people, every culture has its bad things. There are unfortunately some people that were enslaved by Native Americans too. Let's not lie about that. But that was not a big thing, like in the sense of it wasn't done on the scale that the Spaniards, the Portuguese, the Europeans were doing. Okay, they were unfortunately people of color. They were enslaving their own people. So again, that was a smaller number compared to the people that were oppressing us. So let's get it together. Let's, you know, I like to speak on facts. Okay, but that, again, and some of that was because some people were trying to buy their own family. Okay, so yes, so there are people. Okay, I know somebody who has ancestors that were born on the reservation that is of is a Black American. That's like, I'm Native American. I have stories of being, but they don't want to recognize certain people as Native Americans or being part of tribes and all these things. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, guys. But the point of this video is just to say that indigenous people are part of the ATRs, because again, when you are someone of the diaspora, okay, our ancestors got mixed with other cultures, whether that's white, whether that's Native American, so on and so forth. Okay, so there are people of African descent within the United States, in the Caribbean, and things like that, that are technically speaking of mixed lineage, because we did intermingle during this time, time of horrible, inhumane crimes. We did mix, you know, during the genocide of my Native American people, genocide that's never really spoken about, okay? And things of that nature. Like I always say, what I love about voodoo is that they recognize that the Tainos helped to create that religion. The Tainos helped to create some things in Santeria as well, and things of that nature. They infused the semis into these different traditions so that they could have something to leave behind. And that's why I am so passionate about the religions of the diaspora, because it ties together my mixed lineage and the mixed lineage of many of us, that makes us feel connected to those ancestors that came before us. So I do service, I do have working relationships with my indigenous ancestors, my Tainos, my Arawak, my South American native lineage, and things of that nature. They have their shrines, they have certain rituals that I do a certain way with them, and they're important. They're a part of 21 divisions. They're a part of Espiritismo. They're a part of Santeria. They're a part of Voodoo. In some houses, they are part of that. In Louisiana Voodoo, they're also, again, part of that tradition, depending on the practitioners, their lineage, and who is in their spirit core. Almost spilled my coffee. So Zilidanto literally fought on the behalf of the Tainos. So I kind of just wanted to give homage, respect to the beautiful relationship between Madama spirits and the Indio courts, our beautiful ancestors, and the legacy they left behind, and the influences they had, and this beautiful mixed, gorgeous spiritual paths that I have been a privilege to be a part of. So I just wanted to kind of share that. Thank you so much for watching this video. And this will be day 20 of 29 days of Melanated Excellence. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.